Part 2 of Dear Us. Let's talk about something real quick. I've noticed a lot of people complain about the looting and the rioting going on. My people with the Targets and shit in Minneapolis, the businesses getting destroyed. We can't believe it. Apparently we've never seen it before. It's bullshit. Let's talk about Black Wall Street for a second, right? Let's talk about what happened in Tulsa, Oklahoma back in 1921. For those of you who don't know, my own people, go Google, go type in Black Wall Street. Make sure you read that story in its entirety. I'm gonna give you a quick breakdown. So, Black Wall Street was a I think it was either in Tulsa, Oklahoma, or it was right outside. I think Greenville, Oklahoma. I might be wrong on that, but it was one of the most successful black home businesses / pieces of land there's ever been in United States history. They had everything from their own commercial planes to meat markets, churches, dentist office, doctor's offices, whatever. You name it, they had it. They were thriving. They didn't need us. They lived their life. They didn't bother nobody. They uplifted themselves. They thrived off themselves, which is how it should be. But one day, a white woman who happened to work on the elevator made the false claim that a young black man sexually assaulted her. There was no court dates to my knowledge. He was thrown in jail, and the Tulsa, Oklahoma paper ran that story that next day, insinuating there was going to be a lynching that night. So, a few black men decided to keep safe of the young black man who was falsely accused of raping this white woman. And there was a mob of angry white men who decided to go and try and take the life of this young man unjustly. Well, they were killed in the process. The black men wasn't happy. They were killed. Now, what came next was the sickest events I've ever heard of personally in United States history outside of slavery. There was police that was militarized. There was bombs that was dropped on top of businesses. White people lined up on the state line, women and kids, as if this is some spectacle to watch. There were people ripped from their homes and hung and beat and killed from their families because of the color of their skin. There was businesses that was looted, set on fire. They stole the planes. They did every fucking thing that you see happening in Minneapolis. They did that shit back in the 20s. And nobody said a fucking word. You wanna know how I found out about that shit? My homeboy had to tell me ages back. Otherwise, I probably wouldn't know. Why? Because we ain't bringing up shit like that. Well, we want to celebrate Memorial Day, Independence Day, Veterans Day. We want to acknowledge these old wars hundreds of years ago, which is nothing wrong with that, by the way. I'm not complaining about that. What I am complaining about is it's funny how we pick and choose what the fuck we want to remember. And that's frustrating as fuck. And if you want to know why there's a disconnect between black folks and white folks, it's because of you standing motherfuckers with that type of attitude, with the selective memory that you have. That's why we don't give a fuck about what happens in Minneapolis. Quite frankly, it's long overdue. This shit probably should have happened way before now. But again, they had patience. They tried to work with us. They tried to reason with us. They tried to peacefully protest. We told them to shut the fuck up. Use their platform to do something different. Colin Kaepernick took a knee for the same exact reasons. He was told essentially to get up off his knee and play football. He was blackballed from the league later for peacefully protesting. They're told to shut up and dribble whenever they choose to speak out against social injustices. So let me ask you this, white people. When the fuck is a good time for them to make their voices heard, since we got all the answers? Riddle me that, Batman. Tell them when the good time is to let their voices be heard, to peacefully protest. Because we sure as hell don't have a problem in taking liberties and protesting our damn selves when our own privilege is getting terminated or threatened or whatever. For instance, the coronavirus. We had these stay-home orders. White people couldn't stand it because their privilege was threatened. We couldn't get our hairs done. We couldn't go to the movies. We couldn't go out to eat. So what do? We took our automatic rifles. We got fully armored. We walked through government state buildings, through streets. We were yelling in the face of police with automatic rifles in our hand. We didn't get tased. We didn't get shot. We didn't go to jail. We got to go home. The same fucking shit that we complain about black people doing, we did when our privilege got threatened. And that is so irritating. I'm sick of that shit. I'm sick of watching you motherfuckers come up with excuses. Oh, what about black on black crime and this, that, and the third? We gotta fix everybody, not just them. No, motherfucker, we gotta fix that shit first before we fix anything. Because they didn't ask to become slaves. They didn't ask to be ripped from homes and hung because ask to get, they didn't ask for social injustices. They didn't ask to get fucked in the justice system because of the color of their skin. They didn't get asked to get fucked when it comes to getting loans for houses or starting up a business because of the color of their skin. That shit came because we've been whitewashed. We've been brainwashed since the beginning of time that we are pure and black isn't. You watch TV shows, movies, read books, whatever. 95% of the time, a black person is either the villain, a criminal, or some kind of violent figure. We paint them as if they're animals, and we treat them as if they're that. And then when they start finally speaking out and shit gets real, finally, now all of a sudden we want to play victim. Again, like I said in my last video, shut the fuck up. You either gonna take from the pile or you ain't gonna do shit at all. Let me say this too, by the way, on that note, before I close this video out. Your silence when all this shit goes down is a hell of a lot more telling than people who are vocal about their racism. Because you're just as bad as them motherfuckers for not speaking out about it. Anyways, I'm off my soapbox, man. Y'all take care.
Me too. Passing away, say the world chance for beauty. Youth and sap of the day, the life that never continued to stay. For the eye waxing the dim, for the dark and the change is coming to the gray. Neither an air nor a way, for I can find myself in the spring. You can find what's made, stricken or not for the shore rebuild. Rebuild the cave for the blossom, you can find an A for the I answer for the passing, the way for my soul to passing. For the burden, the fear, for the hope of the labor, the play, for the heart, for the beating, past the doses, the witness, and resting in the gold, for the moth that I would find a rage, the clank that I would find a leaf for the bud. In the midnight, for the cockroach, crow, certain day, bridegroom shall come, shall not delay, watch thou yourself and pray, and answer yourself with the, I can say the passing with my God, my Lord, passing it away for the long and delay, for the grapevine, for the new figs of the tender spray. You can find the kernel of the turtle, for this will be the heavens and made, and I can find what's a target for the if you do make the trust that for the watching and pray, and you arise the coming in the day, for the coming away for the night, for this is a passing on find a day. Of course. Meaning my after times I would say of you, while at me, what would you say for the love you more? No more than just to play for the fashion's sake, for the idle woman do. Even let them pray for not to know what we knew, for the love of the party and exceeding the pain, for the parting and hopeless, and where to meet again for the hopeless on earth. Heaven is out of view for the but that for the heart of love, lay bare for you for my love, and you can make it void of vain. Love the forward grows and after the claim the anew, for the beyond in place and the passage of the gate for the death, and you charge after the judgment, you make it plain for the love of you was life and not a breath. Somewhere in the you hear those echoes, a cry for the coming in the silence of the night, for the coming and speaking in the silence of the dream. And around those cheeks and eyes, the bright sunlight for the stream. Come back in the tear for the memory, the hope and you love, and we finish the years, a dream and how the sweet tooth for the too bitter to be sweet, for the bittersweet, for the waking up for what you can find in paradise. Soul's burn for the love of the vibe, the need for the thrust, and the thing you find it thirsting in along your eyes and watch the slow door. That opening and the letting in and lets out no more for the coming into the dreams and after the made live for the fairy life. I can find the cold death and come back to the dreams and the made live and up for the post. Breathe a breath and just to speak the low. Lean low as long as low and long to go for the love and how long I can go. I wish I could remember that. I loved you first, but afterwards you. So am I, and saying so much it was love to the song. I can find drowning in the friendly pool in the mind. What you owes and moved the other first of love is the one along, and it was yours at the moment that seemed and white. You can find what's strong for the love, and I guess it was you for the construe me. What might be for the weight, for the measures, for the vote to do wrong, for the barely I know what's in mind that's separate, but enough for to be free. Love is done for the one is both, and this is both one and love for the rich and love, and you can find what you know they're not mine. For this will be the strength in the both of the layer length. They're in me, love which makes us one. Whole. wax to me, not for the spoken of the mockingbird. The ode to the psyche for the one, for the making of the day bright enough, for the waking night, for the blooming of the jasmine. I can find that with the desperate love, for the hocus pocus, the passionate abracadabra, for this to be the retribution, for the never salt touch your bird. Such your blood, feathers of the tongue is bone. The world is a sad address of this bitterness, for the melting of the tongue, to the babies of the breath, and full of accidental milk, for the teaching of the flowers to grow, for the taking of the tight buds, and the unfurling of the flags in the morning, for the heat, for the fattening out like a banner, for the scent. Flat patterns of disarray for the emerald scene. I am the green for the guy, the pine trees, the conducting your music for the rustling of the needles. And I can find through the heart for the wind, for I'm the heart for the man, for this wild bird. To rise to the sights of the fortress of the engines. These are the shadow locks of dark flare, for this aware, there be nice things to die for the careless and minks of fine, the skirts of the woman for the bright moon. Caressing their head for the sharp of the words that pour through their bottle in the beautiful mouths of this boarded rooms and bar stools and board if I can not find laundry. The styling of the saxophone, you can find that pony. No messing out of the western, you can find a true hidden. Nib with the torso so tight enough with the corset for the know how to highs and lows and yes and no I for none. The know the never for the radio, the first guy for the 20th century for the broadcast. This is for the blues, or the countless for the mothers of the wealthy, for the devil once going home and now sweeping. I can find it. What's the truth, the grave, the plain, I can transmit. What's ever the here for the going for the I can hear you. For the stocking worse than this is the Bible thumping, a banker for the breed line anointed. Word of the shimmering, there for the foot for the walks of the broken streets and the move that for the wings and spoken to the golden streams. And I can find a roar for the discord, murdering in the trees and screaming for the furious and ragging, and I for the undefined revival. And attempt after the breaking of the windows and stepping into your castle. I'm that there for the dance of the choir, or that for the hearing for the wild, or that for the throat, the crow, the wine and exploding sky for the making noise. And I say, hell now.
It's all a part of us.
It was all a part of us, to the Black Death in custody, for the despite that cost a new goal. Built for the seeming incarnation, and this a race for the traveling. And I only came here for the road, for the destined the custody, for the inspector, for the cells, and stark that spotless blank screens. Watch for the corner, for the office has the highest technology, the faces of the staff, for this to look the same. I walk down the wing pier and this to the filthy room, for the door closes behind me, for the feeling in the heart changing, the past strength of the duty, for the fear, for the all of the stories I ever heard, for that was silence, for the spaces between me. Beside me, a coil of rope, for this has been pushed, and this under the door of the cell. Find out what it means. Hell. You remember when I'm gone away, for this is silent land, for you can hold no more than land by me, for the hold me by the hand, for I have turned for the yet. Turning to stay for the remember me one more today, for I can find the future for the planet. Only remember me to understand it will be too late for the counsel you'll pray. Yet if you should forget me now a while, but afterwards remember if you will not grieve for the darkness and corruption to leave, for the best Steve not to find the thoughts and that's once I had. Better by far you should forget the smile, and then you should be reverently be sad enough. The crying for the little one, the footsore for the worry. Fall asleep, you pretty one for the warm and the shoulder for the tramp over your through the winter for the night dreary, enough for this home to be colder for the one, having another for the sleeping of the heart. Sleep soft without the darling for the trouble, the treasure. The soft in the arms and your mother for the dream and your pleasure and pretty things. Sing a song for the rhymes. Sing it after that for the death. It was the curtains that half drawn. Floor was swept and striped with rushes and rosemary, for you could find lay thick upon the bed for which you lay, for this through the lab and I could find the shadows crept. Thinking when I slept, for this is not to hear but I him to say for the poor child, enough for the chemistry silence in the new, but the wet for the touching of the shrouds. You can raise the fold for this to hit the face of this to take my hand over this smooth pillow for the heaven. You can know it's a living for the ones, and I can find what's dead for the sweet it is and still enough for the warm and the cold. I wish I could remember that first day, the first hour, the first moment, or meeting, bright or dim in the season it might be. Wonder for aught I say for the unrecorded, for did I slip and slay for the slay I could find, is so blind enough to see for the foresee for the door, mark the buddy for the tree for that I would not blossom yet. Many a may for that I can recollect, for this is such a days, and to let it go again, for the traces is dull for the be gone. It might seem to mean so little, for this it meant so much, and this only I can recall for touch, this is touch of the hand, for did you only know? If I can remember somewhere or other else, so this is there must surely be for the face not seen for heard. My answer to the word, somewhere for other may be far away, for the past land and the sea, for clean out the sight, for the beyond the wandering and moon, for the beyond the starving tracks and here night but night, somewhere to see the far near, a wall of a hedge between, this the last at least, this the dying year, for the falling on the turf for grown green. Who's seen that wind? Neither I or you. For the wind is passing through, for the seen the wind, for the neither I, for this the trees to bow down their heads, for the wind is passing, God the golden book I can find. Well, seek. If I want to be sure this was an island, and we can walk between the long stars by the sea through the hips and the sight caught in the air. Like a moth at the end of a river, for the round my arms and unable to understand the sun, for your dizzy spell you form a hand around the sand. All for my terrible sanity, for the eternal voice that kept me from reaching you, for these were close to the other, for the autumn. Felt the desperation of the giant of freezing in cement. And when I touched the door, you were pressed against the color for the letter. Reminds me of flamingos. So. Isn't that what you mean? The pleasure of the hands, lips is wetter than the ocean, to the brilliant pain for the breathless and teeth, and this turbulent dream of a roof. And while I thought of nothing else, except you against the skies, I unfold you. Like my very life, a liquid signal. Enormous love and invented. Common that was to split the air between us. Earth looks shiny, wrapped in the steam, and never mind, but I'm tired. Perspiring every chance in the floor of the globe. I bring you an ashtray out of the love for the ice. Palace for because that for the end of the summer, the end of the sun for this, because you are the season like a blue rug, your flag. Your violin, you sit there for the pilling of the eyes for the great surface in your intimate. We merely touched the thread of life of a kiss. It was that summer of love. Reminiscent of what you miss. There's too much passion and where these celebrations go for thunder, rain, and poison. Whisper their eyes for 2,000 more, or 400 years that was the bomb for the torch of the red sand, for the turning green, the anguish of the earth and turned to glass. And did you hear? 2,000 more cremated inside the earth, the poison trapped in glass like a museum. And did you hear it? Tears cried for the land of fear forgave us. It's the sickness and the dying in 2000. I can find a memory here for that this will be more. Peaceful the place that this is the place for the happy until you come with your mom. You stole the happiness with the poison ways and you stole the stories. Are people gone missing and did you hear it? Where's my grandfather, you seen him? Where's my daughter, you seen her? Mommy, you seen my mom? Dad, where's my fine time? I ask for the truth, for this is where you know who you are. Trees are dead with the arms to the sky and the birds are missing. No bird song here, just stillness like a funeral for 2,000 more. Sounds like glass and our hearts are breaking and we are strong to that one always rise up. Rising mob. You can't break that. The spirit that comes together, we make it a heart for the fragments and there's a glass.
You are. Me too. Passing away, say the world chance with beauty. Youth and sap of the day, for the life that never continued to stay. For the eye waxing the dim, for the dark and the change is coming to the gray. Neither an era nor a way, for I can find myself for the spring. You can find what's made, stricken and not for the show of rebuilding. Rebuild the decay for the blossom, you can find the A for the I answer for the passing, away from my soul the passing. With the burden of fear for the hope of the labor, the play for the heart for the beating past the doses of witness and rusting of the gold for the moth that out to find a ray for the clank of the to find a leaf for the bud. In the midnight for the cockroach crow, certain day, bridegroom shall come, shall not delay, watch thou self and pray, and this answer yourself with the I can say the passing with my God, my Lord, passing it away for the long and delay, for the grapevine for the new figs and the tender spray. You can find a kernel of the turtle for the list to be the heavens and made, and I can find what's a target for the need for due make, and trust after the watching and pray, and you arise the coming in the day, for the coming away for the night, for this is passing on a fine day. Of course. Meaning my after times I will save you. While to me, what would you say for the love you more? No more than just a play for the fashion's sake, for the idle woman do. Even let him pray for not to know what we knew, for the love of the party and exceeding the pain, for the parting and hopeless, and where to meet again for the hopeless on earth. Heaven is out of view for the but that for the heart of love, lay bare for you for my love, you can make it void of vain. Love before it grows and after the claim anew, for the beyond the place and the passage of the gate for the death. You charge after the judgment, you make it plain for the love of you is life and not a breath. Somewhere or another, you hear those echoes, a cry for the coming in the silence of the night, for the coming and speaking in the silence in the dream.